Welcome to the MasterMind Library. They call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and your host of the MasterMind Library, the home of the MasterMind Book Club on FHTII.com. As y'all who've been following along know, we've been reading Out a Sacred Woman for the past couple of weeks from Queen Afua, a masterpiece. Anybody who wants to get the book, I put the link down in the description. Feel free to check out those links and grab you a copy. This is a valuable piece of material to have in your library. All right. So we on episode 52, we were in chapter 12, I believe. Yes, chapter 12. Gateway 7, Sacred Relationships. So we made it about halfway through the chapter and had to take a break, had some things to do. So we're going to go ahead and finish up this chapter today. All right. So everyone who's able to follow along in your books, we're on page 302. To my precious daughter, Charisse, who's as pretty as can be, you have drawn me closer and closer to the Most High. I thank you. Thank you, daughter, for teaching me who I am at the core of my being. Thank you, daughter, for walking with me so I may garden you properly. I'm sincerely grateful that the Most High Creatress, chose me to be your mother. With all of our ups and downs and the hard times and oh so challenging times and sweet, quiet times together, it's been good. Our union has made me a mother of a daughter. And that's an extra special reflection to learn and grow from. For in you, I see clearly my own trials, my victories, my madness, my fears, my beauty, and my hope of lotus-like reflection coming through from me to you. I promise to walk with you all the days of your life, even when I become an ancestor. Worry not, I will be there for you. My love for you is steady. It has no mood swings. Mothers, fathers, and extended family especially, love, pamper, and nurture your daughters deeply so that they will grow up accustomed to being treated well. Teach the women in the family to expect and receive the best treatment from the men in their lives through you. Good treatment should be the norm, not the exception. Encourage the family to love its women. In this way, their self-esteem will be heightened, and they will not attract men who abuse women, but instead find men to love, respect, and cherish women. To our daughters, from mothers everywhere, there is a silver cord that runs from me to you. If you don't know what to do or where to go, just pull on the cord, and I will send you what you need to help you. Seen or unseen, you can be sure I'm always there for you. And if not me in person all the time, I'll send an extension of me, your grandmother, or your auntie. May we all continue to be positive examples for our daughters and sisters everywhere. We have many mothers. A sister newly on the path of purification was talking with me about her troubles with her mother. She said, my relationship with my mother has never been good, and it hurts me because I keep going back and trying. I keep trying to bring my mother healing information, and she won't accept it. I had a big fight with her this week, so I think that's what triggered a binge of emotional eating. Our first and most important relationship is with our mothers. And no matter how old we get or whether they're trying, what's up, buddy? You can leave that there. How you doing? Right there. Yeah, we can leave that right there. All right, let's see where we were. Our first and most important relationship is with our mothers. And no matter how old we get or whether they're still on this planet or not, that relationship continues to affect us deeply. What changes over the years is how we come to view them. With deep inner work and purification, we can move from rage and non-communication to compassion and acceptance. But in the meantime, we don't have to do without the mothering each one of us needs, whatever our age. We all have different mothers in the world. In your meditations, Tap into all the mothers in your life. We have a mother who brings us into the world. She's the gatekeeper who got us here. And so we give gratitude and thanks. We may not be able to get all we need from her, though. You know the principle that it takes a village to raise a child, and we're constantly being raised by others as we grow up. So that means we have a number of mothers. Give praise for them all. The creator creatress is your mother. She doesn't leave this void. We're constantly getting what we need. Sincere, close the door, please. You can come in. We just need to open up our eyes and see. There may be a woman at your job. Come here, boo boo. Oh, man, you're getting so big. You're getting so big. All right, so let's go back to where we were. Okay, so we are up here. Our first and most important relationship is with our mothers. And no matter how old we get or whether they're still on this planet or not, that relationship continues to affect us deeply. What changes over the years is how we come to view them. With deep inner work and purification, we can move from rage and non communication to compassion and acceptance. But in the meantime, we don't have to do without the mothering each one of us needs, whatever our age. We all have different mothers in the world. In your meditations, tap into all the mothers in your life. We have a mother who brings us into the world. She's the gatekeeper who got us here. And so we give gratitude and thanks. We may not be able to get all we need from her, though. You know the principle that it takes a village to raise a child, and we're constantly being raised by others as we grow up. So that means we have a number of mothers. Give praise for them all. The creator creatress is your mother. She doesn't leave this void. We're constantly getting what we need. We just need to open up our eyes and see. There may be a woman at your job who keeps supporting you and assisting you and giving you advice. For example, my accountant has been my mother for the last 2 weeks. She's helping me acquire the building that we're in. She says, I don't know what it is that has me calling up and checking and investigating for you and doing all this work and making all these doors open. But I know it's because I am her true child. And I know she has wisdom that I don't have. And I submit to that. A girlfriend may mother you sometime. So don't feel like you're empty. Feel glad about your birth mother. As a matter of fact, you may be the mother for your mother sometimes. And give her what she can't give herself, even if it's simply a good thought. You know how we can be in the same room and send thoughts to each other that knock us out. You say, I wonder how come I'm feeling so sad. It's because you're in a room full of thoughts that have not been lifting up your spirit. So try sitting with your mother and thinking, I love you, Mom. I thank you for the strength you've shown me. Know it's on not the physical plane, but the spiritual one that you're connecting. And know that she's giving you the best mothering she has in her. If you can show her that gratitude, your daughters and your daughters' daughters will give you the same energy back. Healing our mothers and ourselves. My mother hurts to this day, a client told me. 20 years later, she's in grief. Because when she came with her children, her mother said, You can't bring those children here. You better go back to your husband. But he abused her. So she had to go to a shelter. That's why I say, if your mother ever opens up the door and lets you in, you can just kiss her feet in gratitude because gratitude builds. If you just keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you, it creates light and your mother will heal. This is her chance. You and her love energy. A final healing. A sister in one of my workshops said, I had to write my mother a letter and tell her that I refused to be Cinderella anymore. And she said, fine. And a friend of hers called me up and said, Listen, I've seen your relationship with your mother. Go about your life. If she ever needs you, I'll call you. So for 2 years, I was free. And when I got that telephone call that she needed me, I went to her. She was amazed that I would nurse her. I would nurse anyone. As a matter of fact, I told her that. And it broke up our relationship again. But that's what she did for me. She made me a person who would help anyone. Watching her die, I saw that she came to realize what she had created. She saw what she saw what she'd helped me become. She had a wonderful passing, but I can't say I don't have a sense of freedom with her gone. Now I see that our mothers come to terms with all this by watching how we're living our life, by how we transform, and how we make peace with ourselves. That's when your mother will come into your energy field. Right now, she may be refusing to even acknowledge you, like you don't exist, you're not my daughter. And you're constantly trying to live up to this image that she has in her mind of you. But you have to understand that you have to transform. You have to be at peace with yourself and be patient. In time, your mom will come to learn who you are and what she has helped bring about. Coming together, sister to sister. A sister once told me, my grandmother said to me, don't take anything from women. We got scared of one another because of competition for men and scarce survival resources. As a result, we've tried to hurt one another and keep one another down. But now we're going to begin to open up and look at one another and hug one another and know that it's going to be okay. And when we do our inner work, life reflects who we are now. And when we're out in the world, what we see is our own reflection. When we take our loving bath and take time to do our affirmations while we're commuting from home to work, we're incorporating wellness into our whole life. So keep your lemon water by your desk. Have your ma'at feather in your medicine bag and pull it out at high noon when you feel really stressed out. Then it will be easy when you are with another sister because she'll be reflecting what you've done for yourself. Trust the womb in her as well. Sister to sister growing into woman to woman. As sisters, Queen Esther and I spoke the same language, shared the same visions, raised our children together. We sat around the table and talked, and sometimes our sessions seemed to go on for days. We became spiritual blood sisters. My sister was so young, but yet so very wise. Her joy of living inspired me to see life in a more beautiful way, in a more ecstatic way. She added to my fire. Queen Esther is a cultural activist, extraordinary African mother, extraordinary African mother of two, entrepreneur, businesswoman, and dancer of pure grace. Trey, stop. Keep your hands to yourself. And businesswoman and dancer of pure grace. She is a lovely woman indeed, who above all has a love for her people that is profound and supreme. As sisters, we sat back to back with inquisitions of the heart, the mind, and the spirit. And oh, how the answers did flow from me to her and through her to me. We made a pact that when we were old and still vibrant, at 100 years of age and beyond, we would come together and witness. We would share and remember our story of living. Together, we explored our spiritual lives. We made a home in the Native American sweat lodge and received our sacred feathers. I was her support on a reservation in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Her father, Mr. Hunter, may he rest in peace, was part of the Blackfoot Indian people. His blood running through her African body allowed Queen Esther to be one of the first African women to dance in the sacred sun dance, a tradition that has been in place for thousands of years. Every year, in the month of August, the tribes come together to pray for deliverance and for the earth, our mother and father spirit, the rock people, the two-legged and four-legged creatures, and the winged people. They came together to dance, fast, and sweat for liberation. They pray for the freedom of political prisoners in American jails. During slavery, Many Africans fled to the Native Americans for refuge, and they were able to live together because of their common traditions, views, and rituals of family, caring, and moral values. Both groups respect nature and both believe in the sacred feather, the eagle of the natives of Turtle Island, and the Nubians' sacred falcon were birds that represented our spiritual ascension. From this coming together emerged such people as Mr. Hunter, part Blackfoot, part African. Chief Crow Dog was a bad dude, which in Harlem means powerful in a positive way. He was also empowered and in tune as one of the leaders of the Sioux Nation, as the Sia Nation. He honored and gave permission for my sister, Queen Esther, to dance in a Sundance of South Dakota's Black Hills. So did Marenzo, a sweat lodge leader, artist, and friend from Chicago, together with over 150 people who came out to be sun dancers and supporters. We pitched a tent on the reservation. We washed in a nearby lake when we rose at sunrise and fasted, or ate air sandwiches, as Queen Esther called it. The morning was filled with drums that woke us at 5 in the morning to begin the purification ritual, which went on for 4 days. Esther would dress in traditional Native American garb, feathers, shawls, and wraps. She would do a morning sweat, then dance for 8 hours in the sun and the rain. I supported her and Marenzo during this sacred time. Each night during the 4 day dance, my sister and I sat on the Great Mother, Mutt, in the sweat lodge, heated with 20 to 40 hot rocks. One of the most amazing sweats was when we shared the lodge with some Native American women from Alaska. They were spiritually solid. We sweated out our old pains, unresolved anger, unfulfilled dreams, and disappointments. We sweated for hours, strengthened by power of our people, until a freedom call rang out from deep within. Freedom is at hand. Resurrection of a nation is coming forth. As we grew into woman to woman, we sweated out negativity, old baggage that we picked up as we journeyed through life. At times we forgot to study and we let the unlearned lessons accumulate. We forgot to put down the excess baggage. But when we caught ourselves starting to dry up like raisins in the sun, we talked together, prayed together, meditated together, and rocked the pain away. We called on freedom, strength, love, power, forgiveness, and peace for ourselves, our blood families, and our extended families. You will always be with me, my sister woman, Queen Esther, even if we are miles apart. Thanks to the Creator Creatress, I know how to call you up without a phone. My deep friendship with Queen Esther is a powerful example of a wonderful sister to sister relationship. It's great to have a soul connection with a generous, loving woman who's working on herself. But it's a whole other thing to have a relationship with a woman who's working with you. A relationship stagnates when the other person is capable only of offering negativity to you. Why is it some women are able to claim the mantle of sacred woman while others proudly claim the mantle of bitch? They can control and terrorize us for ages. But as we begin to work on ourselves, we discover that in reality, bitches are wounded women in need of deep healing. All right. Y'all want to go on out there back with mommy?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and take your toys with you and make sure y'all close the door behind you. Overcoming the broken. I I have been observing millennials, particularly those in the hip hop family. Generally, millennials are recognized as those who entered adulthood at the turn of the 21st century. In many song lyrics and in conversations, men sadly refer to girlfriends, mates, and wives as my bitch. The women respond, I'm his bitch. Men and women who speak this phrase demonstrate a misguided usage of a term, not of endearment, even if it's intended in that way, as well as an acceptance that one person can own another. Use of the B word in lyrics and conversations is loud evidence of a culture gone mad. In this case, the B could correctly stand for broken. To detox from the name calling and related negativity, I suggest you examine the B word in its present use. Further, I suggest working to heal from the deadly, misguided effects of using this word. Supporting campaigns to radiate away from a broken, toxic frequency to a positive, healed frequency would be fitting for a sacred woman in all her relations. Encouraging news. Women are beginning to speak up and out against the B word, recognizing it as a form of verbal abuse. In the name of love and in order to heal, it is high time that women and men make the shift to overcome the strife, the struggle, and the pain of accepting and living with being seen and spoken to in a derogatory way. As the women, the healers, we elevate ourselves to our true holistic nature. For as the women rise, so do the men. Our men will begin to see and call us properly: queen, beloved, precious, beautiful, lovely, sacred, and so on. When all use the name blessed, all will become blessed. How to heal the bitch. What happens to a people when they are stolen away from their home? May endlessly used and abused, then endlessly used and abused by another group of people for personal, diabolical gain. What happens to the generations of women of such a tribe who are continuously raped for hundreds of years by their oppressors for pleasure and profit? What happens to a once whole, beautiful African woman who was forced to bear the babies conceived under such defiling circumstances? One of the negative things that can happen to women under such circumstances is bitch possession. The bitch is an unrealized woman, encased in pain and filled with fear. She's a woman who feels trapped by life, surrounded by and absorbed in her own waste. The bitch is a negative, evil entity or spirit that possesses the body temple of a woman who has already been filled with rage, hate, envy, and despair. The bitch can possess any woman from any race or status. The bitch is on the opposite pole from the sacred woman, and ultimately she will strangle and destroy the one who is possessed by her. This piece is a response to some of what this society has rendered to my people and so to me. I have no choice but to share this message because bitch possession in others has hurt me throughout the years. She has given me the blues, made me feel bad about myself, made me feel used. Sisters with bitch possession brought me to tears, leaving me feeling attacked and hopelessly in despair. I shut down so tight, no one could get through because I was running scared of her and intimidated. Even my children would tell me, Mama, please mistake your kindness for weakness. Supernova, my son, would say, Mama, you got to get stronger. You got to speak out and defend yourself. Over the years, my own healing has helped me to see that the bitch is a sick state in a woman, and she needs psychospiritual and physical healing and purging. This understanding has allowed my fears of her to turn into compassion. It has allowed me to take the stance of a healer, pulling on my ancestors for strength and clarity. One early morning, I was in my tub in a bath with 8 pounds of salt, trying to heal from a bitch encounter. I sat there, staring at the wall, while tears began rolling down my face. I cried out, That's evil. Why is she so evil? Then I started running an inner tape, going back to when I was 7, of built up hurts from my sisters. Finally, after pondering, I said aloud, That's a bitch. My husband was in shock, for I'm known for not cursing. There was silence in the bathroom. And then my husband said, It's time for you to write about your feelings before it kills your spirit. I was in a trance as the years kept silently flowing down my face, over my breasts, and into the water. Then I looked down at the water and saw that I was surrounded by a bath of tears. I was spellbound, locked in space, despondent. That was a painful day, And to make things worse, it moved by in slow motion. I cried all day long. I cried to my mother, asking her why we women are so often this way. What's wrong with us? I cried to my friend Prima. I cried as I walked in the streets. Finally, at the end of the day, I began to write. I transformed my tears into these pages so that some healing could take place in my people who are suffering greatly from a post slavery conditioning that has gone as deep as our DNA, a conditioner that keeps us hurting one another as woman to woman. The Random House College Dictionary defines bitch as one, a female dog, two, a lewd woman, meaning obscene, indecent, low, vulgar, slang, a malicious woman, motivated by viciousness, an unpleasant, selfish woman, anything difficult or unpleasant. Characteristics of a bitch: spiteful, malevolent, which is also a characteristic of a bitch, wishing evil to another or others, sharing ill will, ill disposed, vindictive, evil, harmful, injurious. Why would I talk about the maliciousness and vindictiveness of the bitch in Sacred Woman? Because the bitch has always been a part of my evolution as far back as I can remember, and I'm certain she's been a part of yours. She's shown up in the form of friends, associates, family members, co-workers, and even healers throughout my life. I was raised to be a brownstone princess, and some people have called me Miss Goody Two Shoes. I was not raised to be a bitch, and as a result, I was not given the tools or the skills to identify, recognize, cope with, work through, handle, or heal the scars the bitch leaves behind. I had to go at it alone and learn as I went along, for no one was able to break down for me how to live with the bitch, not in my blood family, in my extended family, or in the society at large. From where I am now in my life, I recognize that there are chamomile women, calm and gentle type, aloe vera women who are direct but helpful, cayenne and ginger women who are quick, hot, and intense, and clay women who are down to earth realists who thrive off nature, grass, and trees. And of course, there's the bitch. Yet all women have the potential to be lotus women, spiritually enlightened, gracious, beautiful, compassionate, and whole. Sometimes a bitch develops in a woman who is running scared that she's not enough, not good enough, not strong enough, not powerful enough, not woman enough. When a woman gets more pressure than she can handle, she sometimes gets possessed by the bitch. A first class bitch develops in a woman who's forced to live under tight conditions, with limited space and limited resources and limited finances, with little or no support from a man who has experienced his own set of unresolved issues: sexual abuse, rape, and mutilation. The bitch is the result of a well cultivated negative environment. The bitch is a survivalist. She will take you down before she's taken out, because it's all about the survival of herself, her children, or her man at whatever cost. Problem is, she needs to watch out for the bitch in her will. For the bitch in her will take her out too, while she's in the process of doing her thing. I speak here of the bitch because through systematically adapting the sacred woman principles, she can indeed be healed. All women have the potential to be the bitch to ourselves, to sister friends, and to our men who are afraid to confront a woman with a bitch possession. Therefore, they end up fleeing to women from other cultures who don't have the psychological baggage that the history of slavery in this country has passed down through our African genes. The black man runs to other women for refuge, turning their backs on us black women because they say we're acting bitchy. Bitchiness is becoming our reputation. We hear it from the lips of many of our men. They complain of our sometimes overbearing, dominating spirit, always seemingly fighting for survival. Come on, sister. If it's you I'm speaking to and you're tired of getting the old relationship blues, try to lighten up. 1. Part time bitch possession. There are part time bitches who emerge occasionally when the need arises. They appear to be a normal kind of woman much of the time and may even show genuine kindness. Their sword is not active full time, but if you catch them on the wrong day, you will get sliced and diced at the drop of a dime. And when they're done, it's business as usual. Two, full time bitch possession. Some women are full time bitches, evil all the time, even when they're calmly smiling right at you. The wheels of deception are constantly turning toward evil doings. She stirs her pot with her sly words, her poisonous thoughts, and the proverbial evil eye, which is in full effect. She steadily releases venom into the atmosphere, leaving a stench that infects passersby. For her mission in life is to destroy the very core and essence of life. Beware if you are her chosen victim. For when she strikes, your only way out is to strengthen yourself by raising your vibratory level through fasting and prayer. Three, the sweet bitch possession. Please let us not forget the sweet bitch who manipulates you through apparent kindness. She's the one who will hug and embrace you, appear to be supportive of you, and utter gentle tones toward you as she moves with an easy glide. After being with her, you'll probably feel ecstatic about an exchange, a project, or a promise. And then, about a block later, a day later, a borough or a city away, a month or year later, you'll realize that you've been had. That something was stolen. That something was stolen that you once had. And you have suddenly and drastically been made aware that the bitch took your mind, your confidence, your money, your time, your gift, or your secret with a smile and left you bloody and wounded. The bitch may be skillfully subtle at times and at others overtly ruthless, cutthroat, and deadly. All the various types of bitches are the strongest and their toxic symptoms most venomous during the full moon period and during the time of their menses. Evilness rules within them, especially during this period. Some confuse Sekhmet, the fierce lion headed Chemite female spiritual guardian, with the bitch. But Sekhmet fights to destroy evil. She is not a bitch. Sekhmet is a healer who won't take anything off anybody, be it a person, a warped society, or an institution. Sekhmet is motivated by Ma'at, or justice, whereas the bitch feeds off a consistent diet of greed, lust, fear, anguish, selfishness, control, envy, bitterness, confusion, and deception. The bitch was greatly cultivated during slavery. She is a byproduct of the mass rape of one people by another. She, the black woman, was the bedwarmer, the property of the European slave owner. At the same time, she was the servant of the European woman, herself notorious for using bitch tactics when striving to control a black woman as a prisoner of slavery. This once beautiful, highly spiritual African priestess, elder, mother, queen, princess, and herbalist was brought to these shores violently. Then, through whips and chains, she was forced to submit to continuous rapes from the slave owners, from her man, or from any field hand by the slave owner's command, resulting in impregnation for human profit. So, like a cow in a herd, she brought forth as many babies as she was able for the profit of the wicked plantation system of slavery. The head of the slave woman's captive family was the slave master. He had the upper hand. He was law. He, like warfare, was the provider of her room and board, a shack to live in, slop to eat, and rags for clothes for herself and her babies. The stolen woman's man or spiritual husband could be lynched, sold away, or forced to impregnate other women to provide more potential laborers. Plantation life had to grow, and this economic strengthening was created by the number of heads slaves put to work. Forget about family ties. A little girl growing up without a daddy was our norm on these shores. And it created the post slavery conditioning that led to dysfunctional families and female heads of families. Those fatherless little girls grew up to be angry women who became possessed by the bitch. Now, ain't that a bitch? A bitch attitude often comes out of an incest experience, yet another leftover from plantation life to make more slaves on a mass level, by any means. The criminal slave owners would force impregnation not just from a man and woman of age and from different families, but by any means available, mother and son, or father and daughter, or uncle and niece. So today, incest runs rampant in our race. The disease spread and survived through the generations. Black women are on the defensive from centuries of continuous crimes committed on their wombs. And so they have been left with dysfunctional lives, a perfect breeding ground for the bitch. How can she help but be angry and evil and mad? The venom has passed down from one generation to the next through the eating of flesh, of pork, beef, chicken, and from sugar, drugs, and alcohol. All of this ensures ongoing bitchiness. Most of us women folk are fighting for our lives. The endless battle destroys some of us, but some women build out of misery. Some become freedom fighters. Some become cultural activists. Others become healers. Yet all of these women are post slavery prisoners of a hideous crime perpetuated by one group on another. This terrible legacy causes a number of overt reactions and innumerable suppressed reactions. Some women have become docile and debilitated. Some have become modern day house Negroes, obedient prisoners. Some have demonstrated a lack of self love so powerful that their self hate ends up mutilating their African beauty. They bleach their dark skin to a lighter, so called whiter tone. Others commit to surgically trimming down the broadness of their noses, surgically decreasing the size of their lips, or placing lenses of blue, green, or hazel over their beautiful brown eyes. After the smoke cleared from the 1960s, when we all got a surge of black pride and natural hair, we then started getting equal opportunity and corporate jobs. This led most black women to revert right back to our slave training. We started relaxing our hair again. Cuz, girl, if you want the look, you better straighten out those kinks. Other women took on some of the other debilitating characteristics of post slavery conditioning and turned their unresolved anger, rage, bitterness, and hate in on themselves. These are the women who act out the bitch. This residue of pain has been passed down from mother to daughter, causing generational spiritual genocide. We black women have been left wounded with attitudes that won't quit. These same attitudes result in systematic injustices being done to African people. It just never stops. Drugs were poured into our communities, keeping us weak. So we're angry. The AIDS virus was injected into the veins of our community, rendering the black women among the highest percentage of AIDS carriers in the world. So black women are outraged. We receive the greatest number of hysterectomies of all women in the United States. Over 50% of black women in the country are single parents because so many of our men keep walking, leaving their children behind to be raised by the mother. Our sons are filling up the jails. Our men are forsaking us for women from other races. This is what we need to say. Black men, don't leave us. Help us to repair ourselves. But at the same time, don't be no toxic man and lie and cheat, because it's bound to make us real mad and have us act outside of ourselves. It even appears that there aren't enough men to go around for all my sisters in need of a good man. So we claw at one another for just a taste of the chocolate, fighting for his time, his love, his arms, the security of having a man. And this really makes us bitchy toward one another. We know things are getting really bad when we hear this out of our daughters' mouths. Queen B, meaning bitch, rules in the hip hop nation. That's a hardcore reflection of how low we've sunk. When our girl children call themselves bitches, or when our men say with pride, that's my bitch. The bitch gains massive support in the media, which only promotes the demise of African women, of all women, and of all women. Soap operas are based on the principle of the bitch. Hollywood glorifies and presents a high profile of the bitch. Only a sick society promotes and makes profit off women's pain and ignorance. A society is only as high as the status of its women. And if the women are degraded and doomed, so are the men. Since we're sisters from the same family, let me help you come out of your lower state, this critical deformity, before we completely self destruct and explode. 14 steps for purifying the bitch and returning to the Lotus clan of sacred womanhood. These 14 steps will help you break the bitch cycle to free yourself and to prevent the ways of the bitch from being passed down to your daughters. Follow these 14 steps closely for at least one session, but it's best to adhere to them through 4 full seasons to purge yourself of the bitch. If you have a tendency to be dominating, harsh, judgmental, and sharp tongued, with much attitude, acting as an occasional or a full blown, full time bitch. This anti bitch lifestyle regimen will help you make a turn for the better and transform yourself into the lotus of Nefer Atum. 1. Confess out loud or to another sister, brother, or just yourself that you have been behaving like a bitch and that you are willing to release the bitch in you. 2. Fast on green vegetable juice, fruit juices, water, herbal blood purifiers, and herbal extract calmatives, such as valerian root, kava kava root, hops, or passiflora, during your menses and around the time of every full moon. Take 10 to 20 drops in a small glass of water. It is at these times in particular that the bitch can act up the most and cause absolute havoc. 3. To maintain bitch blood, you have to eat a great deal of meat. The blood and flesh of an animal feeds the bitch. Other foods that strengthen bitch possession are sugar, fast foods, junk foods, and fried foods. For a healing change, take on a natural vegetarian lifestyle. As a protein source, consume beans, peas, soy meats, TVP, and raw soaked nuts and seeds. Limit your starch intake to small amounts of whole grains. Consume large amounts of fresh, raw, or lightly steamed vegetables. Be sure to drink 12 to 16 ounces of green vegetable juice daily, which will help you maintain a state of balance and harmony. 4. Drink a tonic daily of 2 cloves of mashed garlic with the juice of 1 lemon in 8 to 12 ounces of water. Also, drink at least a quart of purified water daily. 5. Please stop wearing all that black, gray, dark blue, and especially red until you are well. Wear white and pastel colors to lighten up your spirit and to help you open to your higher spiritual gateways, chakras, or aritu. Clean up your karma, shy. Make a list of all those to whom you've been bitchy. And as you cleanse, write them or call them in person one by one. Reach out and ask for forgiveness. Offer them a supportive act to balance out your wrongdoing and or help someone else who is in need. 7. Say thank you more often for any large or small good deed done on your behalf. 8. Practice smiling from your heart regularly as you send out healings from your heart center. 9. Over 7 consecutive days, take 7 baths with 2 pounds of sea salt each time to draw the demon out. Take a white candle into your hydrotherapy chamber and meditate on its flame to clear your spiritual body, or use a green candle to heal your heart center from the pain and conditions that created the bitch qualities. 10. Practice the Ma'at feather meditation, pages 312 to 313, for forgiveness and to lighten up your heart. 11. Cleanse your colon of old toxic waste with 3 enemas a week over a 12-week period. 12. Travel through and begin to incorporate the wisdom of the various gateways of the sacred woman into your life. 13. Go on a talk fast for 1 to 8 hours a day. Anoint yourself with frankincense and myrrh or eucalyptus oil before you begin your talk fast each day. Also, before you begin, place the Ma'at feather by your lips so that your words and attitude will lighten up. This way, you will begin to train your mouth to speak from a place of Ma'at. Accept and affirm your sacred calling, which will return you to your original state. Allow your higher self to emerge and rescue you from the bitch state. Allow the beautiful lotus in you to open and blossom in the sun. We women folk, we overcome the bitch attitude, break the bitch cycle, and come out of our possession as we make a conscious effort to put down the bitch sword and pick up the ma'at feather of truth and right, balance and purity. As we embrace our ancient African spiritual aspects of divinity, which meet us at every gateway of sacred woman, we will progressively rise out of the bitch state. The creatress didn't make any of her daughters to be bitches. We are born out of the likeness and image of our creatress into a divine being, a beautiful reflection of spirit. If you have been attacked by a woman possessed by the bitch, if you are a lotus, chamomile, or aloe woman, and you have been attacked by a woman possessed by the bitch, then you too must raise your vibration by following the 14 steps as well, so that you will attract higher relationships from your sisters. Keep in mind that the bitch may even be the reflection of yourself or your weakness, or maybe she's been sent to bring out your assertiveness, your strength. Even a woman acting like a bitch can teach you some valuable lessons. If you are a lotus woman who has been attacked by the bitch, don't run. Have no fear. Turn on the flashlight. Let her know that you know what she's doing, and present her with the alternative of walking in righteousness so that both of you can be winners. Create a sister to sister support group or a womb healing circle. Purify and fast together. In reality, no one wants to be a bitch. The one acting out in her unnatural state is actually suffering from her unbearable mental, emotional, and spiritual pain. She's calling out for help. Won't you give a sister a hand? For as the two seemingly opposed women come together and strive to be sisters, the highest degree of healing can be exchanged. Let's just stop calling ourselves bitches. Instead, let's start calling ourselves hurt women, wounded women, women in need of healing. Journal work, sister to sister dialogue. You're my sister, and I forgive you. One of the best ways to promote sister to sister healing is to do a journal dialogue between your sister friend and yourself. You might start by asking if she is willing to speak with you from her highest self. Then write about how you feel about your relationship. Try not to be accusing, shaming, or blaming. Remember, there are no victims here, just relationships in need of purification. Write honestly about how the challenges of your relationship make you feel. Then let her speak and keep going from there. You may be quite surprised about what happens between you by the end of your dialogue. Your relationship with your sister friend may not change as a result of this dialogue because consciously she's unaware of it. The transformation will come through you. The healing will come through your new insights and understanding about your friend and your friendship. Your behavior toward her will change. And in time, because all things change when you do. So all things change when we do. Your friend's behavior will slowly begin to change toward you for the better. Sister one, the abused but forgiving and evolved sister. Your wounds hurt. Your words hurt. Why must you be so harsh and judgmental? Sister two, the sister filled with fear and anger, but seeking to cleanse her soul by pleading forgiveness. I was just trying to protect you and keep you from hurting yourself again. I'm sorry. Maybe I could have done it another way, maybe taken a gentler approach. Sister one, it's all right. I forgive you, for you are my sister. Sister two, I always I always admired you and put you up on a pedestal. Then jealousy stepped in and I took a wrong turn. Please, won't you forgive me? Sister one, it's all right. I forgive you, and for you're my sister. Sister two, you got all of mama's attention. I just hated you for it. Sister one, but you were the one who was always so together, my sister. I was always so undone, and mama just knew. So it only seemed that she cared more for me than you. Sister two, forgive me for my bad attitude, for in truth I always loved you. Through the years, you always watched over me. Sister, could you help me to be a better sister friend and not bring harm to you and me by my words, thoughts, and deeds? Sister 1. Of course, my sister. I'll always be there for you, because Mama wouldn't have it any other way. After all, we are sisters, born from the same womb. Journal work. Sister to sister. Dialogue 2. Sister, don't fret, because you got it. 2. Sometimes sisters are envious of one another, and that toxic state makes us out of sorts. But when each of us reflects deeply enough into our own golden treasure chest, we will see that each sister woman has been well endowed with blessings that fit her life path, her destiny. So, sisters, don't you fret, because you got it that way too. Vanessa is all depressed about what she thinks she does not have in life. To compound things, she feels her sister girlfriend Ruby is blessed to a greater degree than herself. So she writes a dialogue with Ruby in her Sacred Womb journal to get all those feelings up and out. Vanessa, sister girlfriend Ruby, you're more beautiful than me. Ruby, according to whose image of beauty? Vanessa, you were educated better than me. Ruby, but Vanessa, you're the one with street smarts and survival skills. Vanessa, you have more material goods than I. Ruby, but sister, you're the one who's truly rich because you're always spirit filled. Vanessa, you've always had a good man. Ruby, but sister, you were always the one more contented with self. Vanessa, don't concern yourself with the way I've been blessed, because if you reflect, you'll see you got it that way too, all in your own way. The Ma'at feather meditation, balancing the heart. Ma'at is the cosmic order that permeates all creation. It represents truth, righteousness, balance, order, law, reciprocity, propriety, and sobriety. The ancient Kemites based spirituality, government, relationships, profession, their entire lives on the principles of Ma'at, represented by the feather. The heart in the Kemetic system is seen as the seat of intelligence. It was weighed with the feather of Ma'at on the scale, one against the other, as shown in the judgment scenes on the walls of many Egyptian temples. The Kemites believed that if your heart became burdened through life's lessons, then the scale would be out of balance, opening the way to illness and plague. But if your heart maintained balance with the feather on the scale, then you would be in harmony with life. For in for your heart would be equal to the lightness of Neter, the one most high. Then you would be free of disease in body, mind, and spirit. Our ancestors believed that the heart is the gateway to our higher self. They recommended that we check our hearts daily to be sure that we maintain this high spiritual state of Ma'at consciousness. For it is through Ma'at that we will experience heaven on earth. It is through Ma'at that every yoke that oppresses will be broken. Place in your left hand a clear quartz crystal and visualize the white light. In your right hand, hold the feather of Ma'at. Now begin. If your heart is heavy due to accumulations of life's challenges, it will create depression, cancer, heart attacks, strokes, premature death, or a life full of anxiety, stress, and pressure. To keep the heart center clear and clean and filled with beauty, light, and vitality, neither an individual nor a community may continue to harbor past painful experiences. You must accept that every lesson is a blessing and that every experience you receive has given you deeper insight. In order to keep the heart as light as a feather and in a balanced state, we must remain in an active state of meditation so that the Spirit may continue to reveal to us the divine plan of all circumstances. A light heart is reflected in one's peaceful state of body, mind, and spirit. Those who are in a state of ma'at experience contentment, compassion, wisdom, and the constant inner freedom to manifest their life's purpose. Once in this divine state, one tends not to waver regardless of the mood swings of other people or conditions. A Ma'at person is spiritually empowered with the ancient African spirit of truth, justice, righteousness, and absolute harmony. Sit quietly for a few moments and connect to your heart center. Breathe into the heart and out again, very slowly and quietly. Do this 7 times, for 7 is the number for the spirit. Every time you inhale, see the image of your heart as light as the feather. With each exhalation, release from the heart center in degrees or all at once emotions or anger, depression or disappointment. With each inhalation, breathe into the heart peace, joy, compassion, balance, and serenity. This Ma'at meditation should become part of you all of your days of your life so that you will be disease free. When the heart center, the Het Heru center of divine love, is light and in balance, then you can experience Heru, the falcon, the Christ consciousness, the inner freedom that takes flight above the denser spirit of Seth, pain, challenge, disharmony. Ma'at affirmation. I live on Ma'at. I satisfy myself with the righteousness of my heart. On the walls of the pyramids, the heart and the feather were weighed against each other to indicate that the heart must never become heavy. It must always be in balance, be as light as the feather. According to how I live, my heart will be weighed and judged daily. Whatever I carry in my heart will be revealed in my life. So I will guard my heart, my life, with much love and care, and no burdens will weigh upon it. Sacred relationship, 7-day transformative work. The most important relationship on earth is your relationship with self. The extent to which you heal yourself is the extent to which you will be able to heal all your relationships. I'm sure you have already improved. Stay on the road. It gets better. Focus not so much on the outer world. As your inner environment is healed, the world around you will improve. Self communication, love, unity, and compassion for your sacred self aids you in establishing a sacred relationship with all others. This week, enjoy all of your relationships. List all your relationships. Explore the current state of these relationships and what you need to do to bring about divine order in each one. Keep praying about and purifying these relationships to understand the lesson that each relationship has brought into your life. Practice forgiveness of self and others as you do your daily altar work so that you spiritually cleanse your heart and all your conditions. Process old hurts and unhealed relationships by placing photographs of those who need forgiveness on your altar and chanting, "Love holds no grievances. What's past is past." Perform 7-day prayer work for sacred relationships. Place a photo of your mother and father on your altar in a beautiful frame. Write a love letter to your parents, expressing all the gratitude that you have for the relationship that birthed you. Even if even if right now you don't feel the emotions expressed by the words, writing this letter will begin to heal your heart. For once you come to grips with the foundational relationship in your life, that with your parents, then all other relationships will prosper and give you hotep. Consciously release old relationship patterns through purification rites, journal work, prayer work, and affirmations. Don't be erratic and jump into new relationships without ridding yourself of old toxic habits that drew in your previous toxic unions. Within the next 7 days, write a thank you letter to all those in your life with whom you are or have been in sacred relationships. Thank each individual for the special riches they bring to your life and place these letters on your altar. Infuse them with more love and gratitude each day. And when you complete this gateway, put these love offerings in the mail. If the person has died or has vanished out of your life, then burn the letter with a little sage to begin to release the vibratory pain of your past. Send love, light, and forgiveness to those you're sending letters to or who are on your relationship list during your morning meditation and prayers. Ast is about nurturing the self, yourself first. Self worth, love, must be in place within you in order to establish any divine relationship. It's not about your relationship with him or her, it's about your relationship with self. Once you tend to this relationship, then all others will reflect your personal wellness and wholeness. As you do your journal work, ask yourself what it would take to establish a healthy relationship with self. And then we have listed here my sacred relationship end of the week commitment. I commit myself to establishing and continuing the wisdom of Ma'at and the power of sacred relationships in all the areas of my life. There y'all go, right there, ladies. My sacred relationship end of the week commitment, right there on the screen. Go ahead and write it down, screenshot it, whatever, sign it, date it. Let's get it in. And that concludes chapter 12. On episode 54, we're going to start chapter 13, which is the Gateway 8, Sacred Union. Listen, ladies, buy this book. Telling y'all right now, this book right here is the truth. Buy this book. The link is down in the description. Some great information in here. And I think that chapter 12 in its entirety over both of these episodes, episode 51 and 52, I think that chapter 12 speaks for itself. Replay this. Play it with your auntie, play it with your mama, play it with your daughter. Get the printed page, get the printed book. Hardcover, soft cover, whichever one you can get your hands on. You get the PDF, get the PDF. Get the PDF, please send it to me. And read this book. Telling y'all right now, this thing is the truth. But until episode 54, expose your gift.